The power of Rotary is pretty incredible. I know so many of you have awesome stories, and I could go on for a long time tonight about connections and how this all worked. A lot of you were here over 5 years ago when Kelly Coleman first presented about her program, Save the Rain, that she and her husband started in Tanzania, that we now are participating for the second time in. That connection came because Tyler James, who was a member, had a nephew who happens to be her husband, and Tyler, for what, 2 or 3 years, kept telling all of us, oh, we gotta get them to speak, we gotta get them to speak. And the last meeting before Tyler and Nelson moved to Las Vegas, we got them to speak. So that's some pretty awesome power of Rotary. And then Donna Boyd and I have been emailing, and we feel like we're fast friends before we even saw each other tonight for the first time. And just the interconnections up in Mount Shasta, where they live, are just incredible. So please, please remember that the power of Rotary is just incredible. I didn't read Donna's bio. If you want to tell us more about your dog, go for it. But Kelly and Donna, all right, please join us and we welcome you. Thank you for being here tonight.
You guys, I feel so lucky. I have this amazing world where I get to do stuff with all of you. And you guys have done this amazing thing. And I've come into the last grant. I wasn't even a member of Rotary 2 years ago. I got drawn into Rotary because of this project. This project is phenomenal. And you guys have been on this project for a long time, so I hope that you already know that the work you're doing is phenomenal. And tonight we're gonna, yes! Amazing. So tonight we're gonna spend a couple of minutes, or maybe a couple of seconds, talking about the problem that we're solving. But we're mostly going to spend all our time talking about the amazing solution that we have together as Rotarians. So, Goodbye Thirsty. What is Goodbye Thirsty? Goodbye Thirsty is a project where over 22 Rotary clubs in the United States and in Africa and in Canada, that's the power of Rotary that Beth was just talking about. We have been working together since 2009 to bring clean water. So, such a simple thing. All of us, we go home, we take a shower, we turn the tap on. Clean water is such an easy thing for us in our world, but it's not available in the third world. Clean water is a huge challenge in the third world, and we are doing this in Tanzania. So here we have this beautiful boy.
Forward?
I don't know. We didn't get this.
Oh, there we go.
Tech trainer.
Yeah, there we go. Forward.
We're going forward.
I'm the tech person.
Oh. So I got introduced, but Kelly Coleman, we do this. Rotary does this in cooperation with Save the Rain, which is Kelly's project, which is how you guys got into this work. So Kelly has a business, which you can't really call a business, it's a nonprofit. She is the president of Save the Rain International, and she's going to talk to you about the work she does on the ground. I'm going to talk to you very briefly about the Rotary involvement, and then Kelly's going to tell you what we do. And then I'm going to finish up with the next grant. So, seriously, we've had 5 grants. We've been doing this since 2009. There are 5 grants. Your club has been a part of the team for a very long time. And we have already spent almost $800,000 bringing clean water to the people in Tanzania. So, just try to tell me what I should like. Okay. So, what does that mean? What did we get for almost $800,000? We got these smiling faces. We have 100,000 people, more than 100,000 people have clean water every day. That's amazing in the third world to have clean water every day. And you guys have done that. You guys have been a part of it all along. So, these are some beautiful faces. We've provided clean water, rainwater harvesting. Kelly will describe the details of what that means. But in 21 villages, over all this time, 100,000 people, 12,000 primary school kids. We go in and we look at the primary school. Where's the biggest roof in the town? Where's the biggest roof in the village? It's on the school. So we go after the school and we build rainwater harvesting systems that Kelly will talk about there. That's right? Yep. And then here we are. So you guys have been part of the team. There have been 22 Rotary clubs. The top of this picture is a sign that's on the wall at all of those schools. It says the Rotary Rain Harvesting Project, and right in there is the Rotary clubs of Mount Shasta and Fair Oaks, because you guys have been there. So 22 clubs providing that clean water to all of those. So why do they need clean water? Kelly's going to talk about what we provide, but we haven't talked about the problem. Kids, girls, have to walk for water. In the villages that we're working with, they walk for 2 or 3 hours to get a bucket of water, and they put it on their heads, and they walk back, and then they dump it in, and they walk back out. So on average, girls, and it's girls, boys kids go to school, but girls go walking for water. So Kelly's going to fill you in on the rest of that, but the reason we're bringing this, because the groundwater is contaminated, not by, in some places it's contaminated because of the sanitation issues, but in the areas that we're walking, it's contaminated because it's just the nature of the geology in East Africa. Fluoride, the water is contaminated with fluoride, which is one of the natural minerals in the area, and it changes how the kids, if you're drinking fluoridated water here, you fluoridate water here for teeth, but if your water's excessively fluoridated, it binds with the calcium in your system, and then your bones don't grow so well when you're in that development stage. Oh, and you can't grow leafy greens because it burns that. So there's so many challenges. Kelly will talk about how we're managing all that. But here we are. You guys have been with us You guys have been with us for a long time on this project. We're in the 5th grant. We've done so much great work together. And Kelly's going to talk about the work itself. And then I'll talk with you guys at the end about the next grant.
I'm not good at holding things and clicking things at the same time. I hope that's okay. Can everybody hear me like this? Yeah. All right. So, what did we do? Well, through your participation, we actually built 3 million liters of rainwater harvesting storage over the last 5 grants. 3 million liters. Will that harvest 3 million liters of water? No. It'll probably harvest 18 million liters of water to provide those 100,000 people, because the systems will fill and empty multiple times throughout the year. Why on primary schools? Donna talked about it because those are the biggest roofs in the community, but also because that's where the greatest need sits. About 443 million school days are missed by children in this part of the world in developing countries because of either waterborne illnesses or because of the need to walk for water. In the areas that we've worked in, what we came to find out is that girls were being pulled out of school at the 2nd grade. Why? Because in the 3rd grade, you had to go to school all day, and up to the 2nd grade, you could only go half day. Parents had to make a decision between losing their water walker or their daughter's education. And their daughter's education rarely won. So what you've done is you've provided solutions so those girls can continue to stay in school. The next thing that we did is we built residential rainwater harvesting systems. Hundreds of families have received residential rainwater harvesting systems because of your money. Hundreds. And what does that do? That cuts off the need to walk for water altogether. That affects the transmission of HIV because rape is no longer an option. It keeps girls in school. It gets women to be able to be creative with their time. Donna was talking about 2 to 3 hours, but in the last ward we worked in, the walk for water was 10 hours a day. And that is now over because of you. So, giant round of applause. I know this year the Rotary International President is making it a year of reforestation. Woo! Yeah. Yay! And you guys are responsible for almost 3,000 trees that were planted in this region in Tanzania. It doesn't take much, and the trees that we planted are helping to reforest the ground, but they're also stabilizing the rain. Because if we all go back to the 5th grade and remember the hydrological cycle, without trees, we don't get rain. That's why it's, it's a desert. So the more trees we plant, the more we regulate the rain. The more we regulate the rain, the better people's chances are of creating abundant lives for themselves. All 21 primary schools have been given a sustainable agriculture curriculum for their 5th and 6th graders. But what also happened is we created the sustainable agriculture program because somehow this region, though it once had 1.3 million species of edible food available to it, this region has been convinced to become dependent on corn and beans. Corn is only harvested once a year. You have a bad harvest and people go hungry. So what we do is we go back in with very simple passive irrigation techniques and sustainable agriculture techniques to be able to teach people that they can harvest food all year round. Donna was talking about the fluoride in the water. Fluoride, definitely high levels of fluoride burn leafy greens, but what we're teaching them to do is to harvest the rain first, plant the rain, saturate your soil, then plant your food. That's why these berms and swales are created, so water can be caught in the low spots, and that's where you're planting the food that requires the most water. We have seen in the last little while the most incredible little Garden of Eden in the middle of the desert. So I wanted to thank you guys because hunger should not be an option for anybody, but in an area that's got amazing soil, regular rain, and perfect growing conditions, definitely shouldn't be an option, and you have helped change that substantially. Okay, we also did a water and sanitation hygiene curriculum. The World Health Organization says that about 70% of bacteria can be removed from your hands just by rinsing it with water and rubbing it together and singing happy birthday. So, about 15 seconds. So, what we do is we teach kids, we've actually built a rainwater harvesting system that has all these little taps on it, these little push taps. It spits out a tiny bit of rainwater, gives the kid just enough to rinse their hands, rub it together, so that hand-to-hand and hand-to-mouth diseases don't get passed. And what we've seen is a drastic decrease in the amount of kids suffering from waterborne illnesses or Giardia issues that get passed from hand to hand. The curriculum is really cool. We actually take some coffee and everybody wets their hands. We stick the coffee on the first person, everybody gets in a circle, and we watch how far the coffee travels when everybody touches each other's hand in the circle, so that people understand how diseases are passed and how they can be prevented. What's amazing is these kids are going home and teaching their parents, and they're teaching their grandparents, and so this simple little education, this simple little rainwater harvesting system is educating generations and communities. So, what I really wanted to talk to you about is my gratitude, because you guys are the reason why we got to go there. You put us there through your fundraising dollars. And what always happens in the field is there are these incredible value-added moments that we couldn't have anticipated, and we never ever could have expected. Donna talked a little bit about the fluoride. On the last grant, we found ourselves in an area that has such high levels of fluoride that after 4 to 6 years of consuming this water, the bones in children's legs would turn to rubber and cripple them. This is a culture that special needs children are considered a curse. It's also one of the highest levels of children born with spina bifida on the planet. Whether that's genetic or environmental, there's a little bit of both in the mix. So what happened was we ended up finding 60 kids who were born with spina bifida. The spinal sac was removed. It left these children paralyzed and incontinent, and they were being hidden from their communities because the parents had no way of caring for them. They didn't attend school. They were just pretty much hidden in the house. The neighbors didn't even know they existed. Because of your contribution to this grant, 60 kids were found. Through a different donor, 60 wheelchairs that were made out of recycled bicycles were distributed. Ramps were built on every primary school, and every one of those 60 kids has been embraced by their community, is attending school full time, and most of them are at the top of their class. The next piece that came about was understanding how gender issues work in this part of the world. You know, in our part of the world, we have been figuring out or attempting to figure out equal rights between men and women, and yes, maybe we have some distance to go still, but it is nothing in comparison to what gender inequality looks like on the other side of the planet. Women can be thrown out like trash, as simple as that. A husband decides he no longer wants her. She goes from her father's home to her husband's home. And if he no longer wants her, she's finished. She has to pack up her children or just grab her children and go. But with widows, there is a very, very, very dangerous scenario. Women in Tanzania do not inherit land, not from their fathers and not from their husbands. And so if a man should die, his brother is allowed to forcefully take the land and her home from her and leave her in the streets. We came across a huge population of widowed women on the last grant. A lot of them received rainwater harvesting systems, but we determined that the best way to support them was to train them and give them a job. So these are 6 of the 38 widows that have been hired by Save the Rain, who are building rainwater harvesting systems for other women, teaching them sustainable agriculture, and helping them flourish. They have, They have security, they can feed their children, they can purchase their own land, and they can have independence for the first time in their life. And because of you guys, this is a program that's going to be replicated in every single solitary Save the Rain project from this point forward. So thank you for allowing us to grow in that way. So, education. Education is probably, as we talked about with literacy in this part of the world, education is one of the most pivotal components. A girl's education, for every year that a girl attends secondary school, it decreases substantially the amount of children she's going to have. Because her value, her sense of self-worth, is no longer about being a baby maker, but it's about being a contributor to her community. It also ups her earning potential by 25% for every year she attends secondary school. So because of the places that you have put us, and the fact that in these regions, girls are being denied their education in the 2nd grade, like we just talked about, by answering the water need, we have seen a 93% improvement in the attendance in school, and most of those attendances are girls. So So a giant round of applause. So my gratitude to you, because of this partnership, we got to sit and listen. We sat and listened to problems, and we listened to wants and desires, and got to create even more solutions and more assistance, because it's our shared belief that every child should have the right to reach for their potential and grab it. So thank you for everything. For everything.
For the thought for the week, Mike gave this to me, Mike Maddox. Shh. Okay, it's really good, especially for tonight, which is 9/11. It comes from Daisuke Ikeda, who is a Buddhist. He's now deceased, but he was a huge champion of peace, and Mike gave this to me. There are no greater treasures than the highest human qualities, such as compassion, courage, and hope. Not even tragic accident or disaster can destroy such treasures of the heart. And I think we've seen that in the last couple of weeks. We definitely see it with you. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.